Pune is a city of 4 million and one of India's fastest growing urban centers. In the past 40 years, Pune's population has increased 5 times and its number of registered vehicles has increased over 100 times. 650 newly registered vehicles are being added to the roads every single day. Despite huge numbers of personal vehicles, 37% of all trips are done by walking, giving the city substantial numbers of pedestrians. Where are all these people walking? Pedestrians have become sidelined in the haze of this mechanical jungle and have been left to choke on the dust and smog of vehicles claiming the roads and taking over public spaces.
So it's pathetic.
How about the footpaths for,
There are no footpaths.
for pedestrians?
There are no footpaths, so we don't have a concept of footpath.
Maintenance, adequate planning, completed construction, difficult crossings, and enforcement against encroachment still needs much improvement.
Footpath, where we are standing right now, the footpath road, was done up just a few months ago, and it is in such a bad state right now. They've done some work again. The tiles they've not replaced the tiles. The mud is still lying there. I feel they're just wasting our tax money.
Many retain deep, dangerous holes and uneven surfaces. In contrast, roads are well maintained, with even surfaces and a path clear of obstacles. Often roads are considered completed when the vehicle carriageway is done. Footpaths are not compulsory, and the places where pedestrians are to walk are left in shambles with debris and potholes. By default, even a pedestrian who starts walking on the footpath will at some point in time end up walking on the road. Walking on footpaths in Pune requires constant attention and a conscious will to do so. Thus, once confronted with an obstruction, people will continue walking on the road even when the path becomes clear. This is why effort needs to go into making sure the footpaths are the route of least resistance and the place where a pedestrian feels most comfortable. In their current condition, to stay on footpaths requires constant dodging and ducking, so it's actually more difficult to walk on the footpath than it is to walk on the road. Footpaths are not respected as a reserved and valued space for pedestrians and are therefore constantly being encroached upon. Footpaths are used as dumping grounds for construction material and parking spots for two-wheelers and cars. Buildings expand onto them and vendors swallow them up, and there is inadequate enforcement with regards to keeping footpaths clear and actually walkable. But it's not just what is put on the footpaths. It's the nature of footpath construction as well. They are often far too narrow, and the amount of walkable space is limited from the time the footpath is first constructed, when posts, trees and pipes almost completely block the path. New roads are made wide while footpaths are left narrow and unfinished. Vendors and hawkers are one of the most common pedestrian complaints, and it's easy to understand why. Their stalls, blankets and customers seem to take up the entire footpath.
These footpath traders who are sitting on the road for selling products, they should be given some special area for selling their product. Otherwise they will encroach on the roads. Wherever there is space available, they put their stalls, and it will be a lot of inconvenience to the pedestrians to walk on the footpaths.
Small-scale vendors have been around since long before vehicles came to be. They are part of life in India, and it's a means to a livelihood and sustenance for many families. People buy their products and their services, and they are valuable to society. Walkable footpaths and street vendors can coexist. City planning just needs to take them into account. But one of the most important arguments for the improvement of footpaths in Pune is safety. One of the biggest concerns for pedestrian safety is crossings. With the absence of regular and well-defined pedestrian crossings, pedestrians cross the roads whenever they can and wherever they can. Even at stoplights, traffic is impatient and vehicles will burst forward regardless of the signal. Pedestrians don't have a clear way of knowing when the light will change, and when it does, the vehicles accelerate without watching out for pedestrians. Walking gets considerably more dangerous at night. Darkness causes reduced visibility for motorists and pedestrians alike. Traffic drives as recklessly at night as it does during the day. And not all vehicles have working lights, so it is additionally difficult to see who is coming. Therefore, crossing the road becomes even more risky. No lighting for footpaths makes walking on them at night many times more treacherous. Giant holes, protruding roots, and uneven surfaces that can be at least seen with daylight become next to impossible to apprehend in darkness. Why is this? A city such as Pune, which has been in existence for hundreds of years, was not originally built for vehicles. It was built for pedestrians. The roads were not meant to handle such heavy loads of traffic. Although there is no denying that motorized transport is here to stay, is that any reason why people should be marginalized in their own habitat? Should vehicles be allowed everywhere? What is to be gained by a system that puts all people, especially the young and the old, in danger? The pedestrian is last in the hierarchy of Pune's roads, where those who are biggest and loudest drive recklessly and retain control, leaving the smallest and the weakest to jump aside. Shouldn't this attitude be reversed? Shouldn't all inhabitants be treated as equals, no matter what their mode of transport? Enrique Peñalosa said, "The more a city is made to accommodate motor vehicles, the less respectful of human dignity it becomes, and the more acute the differences in quality of life between upper income and lower income groups. Children, the old, handicapped, and vulnerable populations are particularly alienated by increasing motorization and the processes that come with it." If a city is to be built around people, then spaces should be created where people can walk in peace and safety. They should be able to walk together and talk without having to shout. And they should be able to look at one another, not at brakes or poles or machinery. Pune has the capacity to create spaces for people away from vehicles, and its future development should recognize the importance of people in its landscape. By nature, we are all pedestrians, and being able to walk in peace is fundamental to a city's happiness.